Hello again, everybody. This is attorney Mark Brunner. Thank you so much for joining me here today on Talking Texas Law. Let's talk today about the standard conditions of probation. These are going to be the handful of statutorily required conditions that no matter what county, what offense, what judge you are in front of, if you're going to be on probation, including straight probation or deferred adjudication probation, these are going to be the conditions that will be there in every single case. Now, there could be more added on. Certainly most counties do that, but again, these are the ones that are required by statute. So again, we're talking about probations, either deferred or regular probations that are run through a CSCD, Community Supervision and Corrections Department. This is a fancy word for the probation department. So you'll hear me refer to probation, but again, the fancy term that we use these days here in Texas is community supervision. Really, people don't really call it that other than what's on the paperwork, but probation, community supervision, it's the same thing. Again, let's talk about these required conditions that you will see in every single probation here in Texas. Well, the number one is real easy. It states basically don't break the law. Commit no new offenses against this state, any other state, or the federal government, the United States. Now, generally, your court is not going to get worked up about, let's say, a traffic ticket or speeding or something like that. Anything above that, well, again, technically that would be a violation of the law, and with a new offense, that could be a violation of your probation. So again, first condition, don't break the law. Second one is to, and I apologize for the Victorian language here. I don't know when the statute was written, maybe the 1800s. It says, avoid any, quote, injurious or vicious habits. What the heck does that mean? Basically means that's sort of a catch-all to, don't get hooked on drugs, don't turn into a drunk, don't engage in self-destructive behavior, etc. Avoid any injurious or bad habits. Covers a lot of ground there, but it's a big umbrella for the court to apply towards any sort of bad behavior that you may be up to while you're on probation. So avoid that. The third standard condition is to avoid all narcotics, any sort of habit-forming drugs, any alcohol, controlled substances, drugs that may be by prescription, but they're not by prescription for you. Again, got to avoid those substances. Now, again, with a doctor's prescription, that's fine. If you have a valid prescription for something that would otherwise be illegal or unlawful, or might trigger a bad reading on a drug test, that's fine, again, if you have a lawful prescription and you can produce it. Number 4, the next condition is to avoid people or places of what's called disreputable or harmful character, including places that primarily get their income from the sale of alcohol. We're talking about strip clubs, gentlemen's clubs, liquor stores, places like that. Also, disreputable or harmful character could mean certain houses or neighborhoods where it's known to be drug activity there, known to be high crime. This is a place where they have gambling every Friday night, etc. Supposed to avoid those places. The next standard condition that you're going to see in any probation here in Texas is a big one, which is to report to your probation officer who is in charge of your case as directed, and follow all the rules of your local probation department. So reporting as directed, that could be once a week, once a month, once a quarter, in person, by email, by phone, however they want you to do it. Please follow that. That's going to be a standard condition. You can't just be on probation and never report to anybody. So that is always going to be a standard condition of probation here in Texas. The next one is a follow-up, which is to allow that supervising officer to visit you at your home or elsewhere. Now, they don't usually have time to come and knock on everyone's door, once a month or whatever, or come to your place of business and embarrass you. They could, though. They do have that power, and if you give them reason to, they certainly will keep coming at your place. However, again, you can generally expect that they will come out to verify that you do live where you say you live, etc. You're also told in the next standard condition of probation to keep your job, to work faithfully as much as possible. Now, if you're a student, that's your employment at that time. But keep a job, remain employed as much as possible. The next condition is to Don't change your residence without notifying and getting permission from the probation officer. Report changes also in your employment status to your probation officer. So they don't want to come out to your old place of business or your old house and all of a sudden they're looking for you and you're not there. You need to tell them ahead of time, I'm about to change residences, I'm about to change jobs. Also, the next standard condition of probation is to remain in your supervising county and or Texas and or some group of counties. They'll spell it out in your paperwork. So remain in that area unless you are given permission to depart. Now, they're not talking about a day trip. You know, I'm crossing the line from Harris County into Montgomery County, and all of a sudden I'm outside this. I've committed a violation. They basically mean don't move, okay, without notifying them. Again, day trips, that's fine. We're talking about don't leave the county or leave the state or leave a contiguous group of counties, however it's spelled out, without notifying them. Another standard condition is to keep a photo ID on you at all times. That way, if you're stopped by law enforcement, they will know immediately who you are very easily, and they can easily track the fact that you are on probation so they can see if, hey, this guy's not supposed to be here. He's at a party where there's drugs being sold. He's at a place where there's gambling over in the corner over here, or he's at the strip joint. He's not supposed to be here. Police officers know these standard conditions. They're well versed in them, so you need to be too. So again, keep that photo ID on you at all times. That is another standard condition of probation. Yet another one is to support your dependents, meaning if you have children, you need to be paying child support, or if you're still living with them, keep paying towards them, keep up their insurance, child support, feeding them, caring for them, etc. So support your dependents. Next standard condition is to avail yourself to submitting a urine, breath, or breath sample to test for the presence of drugs or alcohol as directed by your probation officer. You're basically giving them pre-approval that you will be taking those tests if they ask, and to pay a fee for the processing of those drug tests. They're not free. Usually it's only a couple bucks. They're not looking to bankrupt you, but you're basically saying, yes, Judge, I will allow myself to submit to these drug or alcohol testings. Number 13 talks about, or the next standard condition of probation is monetary, is pay your monthly probation fee. Right now in 2019, it's $60 a month. It certainly can go up as the years go on. I remember back when it was $40 a month. Now it's $60. Maybe that just shows you how old I am. But pay that each month as directed. They will instruct you how to do that, whether that's in person or online or however they wish to do it. Also then, the next standard condition of probation is to pay all your other monies also. We're talking about things such as your fine, court costs, any kind of court-appointed fees, restitution, payment for drug tests, things like that. All that gets sort of apportioned, chopped up among the months that you're on probation and worked down to a fee that you're going to pay monthly. So in addition to, you take those last two conditions together, pay the $60 a month probation fees. In addition to that, pay all your other monies or pay towards all your other monies, and that amount will slowly go down over time. The next standard condition of probation here in Texas is to not operate a motor vehicle without a valid Texas driver's license. So again, that would be breaking the law, so they ask you to do that. The next one is to perform community service. And it may be, some counties that's a big thing, some counties it's not. Some counties probation has a standard set of conditions for, this level offense is this many hours community service, this level offense is this many hours. Some places that's a thing you can negotiate with the prosecutors, and some places you can't. But those, again, what I've just talked about, those are the handful of standard conditions of probation you can always expect here in Texas. Now, we're not talking about some sort of deferred adjudication on, say, a traffic ticket. That would be a lot less conditions than what we've just talked about. I'm also not talking about any kind of pre-trial diversion program that's run between you and your lawyer and then the state prosecutor. This is what I'm talking about here is only in regards to, again, probation, whether it's felony, misdemeanor, straight, or deferred, run through a county's Community Supervision Department, or CSCD. With those, you can expect these conditions that I just talked about. In addition to, there will be some that are county specific or court specific or offense specific. There will be additional conditions that you will be imposed on, again, depending on perhaps your offense, your particular judge, your county, things like that. So at least these handful, likely more, but at least with this you are armed with the knowledge of what to expect if I'm about to go on to probation. What are some of the things I can expect just at a minimum? And that's just what we've talked about here today. As always, this video is being offered for educational and informational purposes only. It's not to take the place of a true legal consultation, and unless you are already a contracted client of mine, I'm not your lawyer. This has been Attorney Mark Brunner, and thank you so much for joining me here today on Talking Texas Law. I'll see y'all next time.